Porsche just quit its own electric future and then, in the very same breath, confirmed 2 brand new electric cars are still coming. That is not a mistake. That is not the company contradicting itself. It is the most important statement any carmaker has made this year, and almost every headline got it completely wrong. Because the most electric-committed luxury brand on earth just told the entire industry that the rule everyone has followed for a decade is dead. And here is the part that changes everything. The numbers Porsche dropped days later prove it was right. Stay with me, because this one statement quietly rewrites the game for every car company on the planet. Let's cut straight to the news, because the story here is not the drama, it's what it means. In July 2026, Porsche's CEO Michael Leiters confirmed the company is pulling back, hard, from its all-electric plan. It is pumping money back into gasoline and hybrid models and deliberately cutting how much it depends on electric cars. The reason he gave is blunt. The demand simply is not there, and the price war in electric cars has turned vicious. This is the brand that promised 80% electric by 2030, poured billions into it, and then watched it come apart. An electric flagship that flopped. Its biggest market, China, cratering. And a profit that collapsed more than 90% in a single year. That is the wreckage Leiters inherited when he took over. This statement is his way out of it. And on the surface, his way out looks like one thing and one thing only: a total surrender to gasoline. Look at the evidence. The new flagship K1, a giant SUV that was supposed to be Porsche's pure electric statement to the world, is now launching as a gas V8 first. Porsche has confirmed combustion engines are staying in its lineup deep into the next decade. The fully electric Panamera got shoved years down the calendar. And Porsche even pulled out of a software partnership with the American electric maker Rivian, cutting one of its last ties to the electric-first world. So every outlet ran the same headline: Porsche gives up on electric. Porsche admits defeat. The EV dream is dead. And every single one of them missed the detail that flips the entire story. Because buried in the same announcement was one line that makes the surrender story impossible. At the exact same moment Porsche pulled back from EVs, it confirmed the electric 718 Boxster and Cayman are still coming. 2 brand new fully electric sports cars, full speed ahead, right in the middle of what everyone called a retreat from electric. Stop and think about that, because it does not fit. If a company were truly abandoning electric, those 2 cars are the first thing you cancel. New EV sports cars in the middle of a so-called EV surrender? Instead of killing them, Porsche is protecting them, which means this was never a surrender at all. It's a hedge. And that word is the whole story. Porsche is not walking away from electric cars. It is walking away from the belief that it has to bet the entire company on electric cars alone. That is a completely different thing, and it is far more radical than any surrender. Here is the assumption Porsche just detonated. For a decade, the entire car industry has operated on one unwritten law: pick a future, go all in, and pour everything you have into it, because the companies that hesitate get left behind. Every executive believed it. Every investor demanded it. Tesla proved it. And Porsche believed it harder than almost anyone, which is exactly why it nearly destroyed itself. So now Porsche has done the thing nobody in the industry had the nerve to do. It stood up and said out loud that the all-in rule is wrong. From now on, it builds gas, hybrid, and electric side by side, on purpose, and it lets the customer decide which future actually shows up, not the strategy department. The customer. And if that sounds like a soft, wishy-washy non-decision, hold that thought. Because the numbers Porsche released next make it look like the smartest call in the industry. Days after the statement, Porsche posted its results for the first half of 2026, and the proof was sitting right there in the sales figures. Look at what people are actually buying. Overall, Porsche's deliveries fell 16% in the first half of the year. That sounds bad until you break it apart. Because the 911, the oldest, most analog, gas-burning car in the entire lineup, grew 19%. In the United States, 911 sales did not just grow, they exploded, up 56%. Meanwhile, the electric Taycan fell another 25%. Read that back slowly, because it is the whole argument in one line. At the same company, in the same 6 months, the gas car is booming and the electric flagship is collapsing. That is the single clearest piece of evidence you will find anywhere that nobody actually knows which way this market is going. And it is exactly why Porsche stopped pretending it knew and started building for both. Now the number that matters most, the one that turns this from a story into a strategy. Even with total sales down, even with China still bleeding, Porsche's operating profit jumped 34%, back over 1 billion euros. Its profit margin climbed from 5.5% up toward 8%. Sit with that. The company sold fewer cars and made significantly more money. The strategy every headline mocked as pure panic is already showing up on the bottom line in black ink. Leaders summed the entire philosophy up in 5 words. Make money with fewer cars. Stop chasing volume. Stop trying to out-Tesla Tesla. Sell fewer vehicles, but sell the right mix across every kind of engine and protect the margin above all else. It is the exact opposite of the all-in electric bet that nearly sank the company. And it's working faster than anyone expected. But here is where this stops being a Porsche story and starts being a story about every car maker on Earth, including whatever is sitting in your driveway right now. Because Porsche was the test case. If you wanted to run an experiment on whether a great legacy car maker could go all electric and win, you could not design a better candidate than Porsche. Think about the advantages it had walking in. More profit per car than almost any manufacturer alive, which meant money to burn on the transition. 70 years of the most respected engineering pedigree in the business. One of the strongest brand names on the planet. And a genuine 2-year head start on electric over most of its rivals. If any legacy brand on Earth was built to make the electric leap and stick the landing, it was this one. It had every possible advantage. And it still got mauled. That is the part that should be keeping executives awake in Stuttgart, in Munich, in Wolfsburg, and in Detroit. Because if Porsche, with everything going for it, could not force the electric future to arrive on its schedule, then every rival is now quietly asking the same terrifying question. What exactly makes us any different? What makes us think we can do what Porsche couldn't? And here is the lesson they're all now racing to copy, because it's the real headline underneath the headline. Porsche did not get destroyed because electric was the wrong bet. Electric may well be the future. Porsche got destroyed because it bet the entire company's infrastructure on one aggressive, fixed timeline, and when the real-world demand showed up years late, all of that infrastructure turned into dead weight overnight. Billions in factories built for volumes that didn't come. A battery partner that went bankrupt. A supply chain for a future that arrived behind schedule. The bet wasn't wrong. The all-in nature of the bet was what nearly killed it. So look around the industry right now and you'll see the shift already happening. The car makers who suddenly look smart, the ones keeping gas and hybrid alive while they scale up electric, are not smart because they guessed the right technology. Nobody guessed the right technology because nobody knows it yet. They look smart because they never bet the whole company on the guess in the first place. Porsche just made that the official playbook, and that is a genuine turning point. And the wild part is, Porsche is not alone. Look closely, and you can already see the entire industry quietly making the same turn. Mercedes, which once talked about going electric only by the end of the decade, walked that back and now says it will keep building combustion engines well into the 2030s. Audi scrapped its hard deadline to stop launching new gas cars. Even Volkswagen, the group that bet the most aggressively of anyone on a fully electric future, has extended the life of its gas and hybrid models. And on the other side of the ocean, Ford and General Motors both slashed and delayed billions in electric spending after their EV divisions bled red ink. One by one, the giants are backing away from the hard, all-in electric deadlines they set just a few years ago. Porsche is simply the most dramatic example and the most honest about why. The whole industry spent the early 2020s racing to prove who could go all-electric fastest. It is now spending the mid-2020s quietly admitting that race may have been a trap. A quick pause, because if you're getting something out of this breakdown, do me a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel more than you'd think. Now, the part everyone's really asking about. Is Porsche actually out of the woods, or is this just a smarter way to manage a decline? Because the hedge is clever, but it does not magically fix everything. Porsche is still caught in a genuine trap, and it's worth being honest about it. On one side sits the traditional Porsche buyer, the one who wants a screaming gas engine, the mechanical feel, the analog soul of the brand. On the other side sits the modern luxury buyer, who wants Chinese-level software, Tesla-level charging, and a screen for everything. And right now, Porsche is caught in the middle, too expensive and too old school for the tech crowd. And after years of chasing electric, not always focused enough on the enthusiast who kept it alive. The hedge is how Porsche tries to serve both without gambling everything on either. Sell the roaring gas 911 to the enthusiast. Sell the sharp electric Boxster to the early adopter. Keep the hybrids in the middle for everyone else. Never again put the whole company on one square. It is a survival strategy, and the early numbers say it's buying real time, but it is not a cure. Porsche still has to win back China, where local brands have eaten its lunch. It still has to prove its electric cars can compete with rivals who are now years ahead on software. And it has to do all of that while its costs are under brutal pressure and its most loyal customers are watching to see if the brand still remembers who it is. None of that is solved. The hedge just means Porsche gets to fight those battles from a position of strength instead of collapse. And that's the difference between the Porsche of a year ago and the Porsche of today. Now let's make this practical, because this isn't just boardroom chess. This statement changes things for anyone who's going to buy a car in the next few years. First, if you were worried the gas engine was about to be legislated and engineered out from under you, this is your clearest signal yet that it's not, at least not on the timeline you were told. The most respected performance brand on Earth just committed to building combustion engines into the next decade, and it's being followed by Mercedes, Audi, and half the industry. The gas car isn't dead. It just stopped being the automatic villain of the story. If you love a combustion engine, the panic-buying urgency is off. Second, if you were about to buy an electric car, read the hedge correctly. Porsche is not telling you EVs are bad. It's telling you the technology is still moving fast, prices are still falling, and the software is still improving every year, which is exactly why it's refusing to lock every customer into today's version. Translation for you, the buyer. An electric car you buy in 2 years will likely be meaningfully better and cheaper than one you buy today. That's not a reason to avoid EVs. It's a reason to think hard about buying versus leasing, so you're not stuck holding fast depreciating first-generation tech. Third, and this is the one nobody says out loud, hedging brands are safer brands to buy from right now. A company that bet everything on one powertrain is a company that can get wiped out if that bet goes wrong, and when a car maker gets into trouble, resale values and dealer networks are the first things that suffer. A brand spreading its bets is a brand more likely to still be standing and still supporting your car 10 years from now. In a market this uncertain, that stability is worth real money to you. So what actually comes next, and why should you keep watching this story? The full plan has a name: Strategy 2035. And Porsche lays it out in detail at a major investor day this October. That is the moment the whole industry is circling on the calendar, because it's where Porsche has to show whether this hedge is genuine long-term genius or just a well-dressed retreat. Watch for a few specific things when it drops. How many electric models Porsche now commits to, and how fast. Whether it names a real plan to claw back China or quietly gives up on it. And whether that recovering profit margin holds or whether the first half of 2026 was a one-off. But zoom out, because the bigger picture is the reason this matters far beyond one German brand. Porsche just became the first major car maker to say out loud what a lot of executives have been whispering in private for 2 years. That nobody actually knows what the future of the car is. Not gas, not full electric, not hybrid. Nobody knows for certain. For a decade, admitting that was career suicide. You were supposed to project total confidence in the electric future. Porsche just walked on stage, admitted the uncertainty, and turned it into a strategy. And it got rewarded with a 34% jump in profit for doing it. That is the statement that blows up the market. Not gasoline is back, not electric is dead. The statement is that certainty itself was the trap. And the smartest thing a car maker can do right now is stop pretending it can see the future and build for all of them at once. Porsche went all in, nearly died, and clawed its way back by swearing never to go all in again. Every rival still betting the whole company on a single guess just watched it happen. The question now is who's brave enough to copy it and who's too far down their own one-way bet to turn around. So where do you land on this one? Is Porsche's refusal to pick aside the single smartest move in the car industry right now the hedge that saves the company and quietly shows everyone else the way through? Or is it a proud brand that got burned so badly it's now too scared to fully commit to anything at all? And the bigger question, the one hanging over every single car maker on Earth. If the most electric-committed company in the world just backed away from betting on electric alone, does anybody actually know where this is all heading? Drop your take in the comments. I read every single one, and honestly, some of the best videos on this channel started as a comment from someone like you. If you're new here, Motor Zen covers the business and the power moves behind the global car industry. The decisions that decide what ends up in your driveway before you ever walk into a showroom. We don't pick sides between brands or countries. We just follow the story wherever it actually goes. Subscribe if that's your thing. New videos every other day, no filler. See you in the next one.